You will pay the price for hurting my family, you hollow scum! Feel the wrath of my blade!
Ichigo is an amazing anime character. In fact, as far as main characters go, Ichigo fits his role pretty well. He starts off normal, things go south very quickly. He is thrust into a world of things he doesn't truly understand and has to grow in order to accomplish his goals and survive in his new reality. With the goal to protect his friends and family, a goal he completes very well. It's hard to really find many faults in Ichigo, so of course, people had to find a very cheap fault in him. Ichigo only uses the same attack. That's one of the main things people say about him, that he's a one-trick pony. Which is quite hilarious, especially when you realize that characters in the big three share this trait. Naruto keeps spamming shadow clones and Rasengan. Luffy used to just use his Gum Gum moves before gear 3rd, 4th and 5th. You get the point. But I am not bringing up these characters to throw shade on them. I am using them as a reference to show that if a strategy works, don't change it. Anyway, in this video, I will be explaining exactly why Ichigo only has one attack type, or more specifically, one attack with different variations and substitutes. Let's get into the video. I want to quickly talk about Ichigo's origins here first, as this will paint the canvas of everything that will follow. Ichigo is a substitute Soul Reaper, but he wasn't always this way. In his childhood and teen years, Ichigo was a human, an above-average human at that, since he could see souls and hollows, but did not have the power to fight these hollows, and his Soul Reaper abilities were awakened when Rukia Kuchiki passed her own Soul Reaper powers to him. Now this is when I need you to start paying close attention to the details. When Ichigo gets these powers awakened, the sword he gets is abnormally large.
And I have never seen a Soul Reaper wield such a huge Zanpakuto.
This is strange, since all the Soul Reapers we meet in the series, all their sealed Zanpakuto are regular katana, not this Buster Sword looking blade. The answer as to why his is bigger is simple. Soul Reapers are trained at a very young age to control and regulate their spiritual pressure. Ichigo has no such training, and it's later said that the size of the sealed Zanpakuto is directly linked to the control a Soul Reaper has over their spiritual pressure, even going as far as to say that a captain's sword, if not regulated, would be the size of a skyscraper.
Let me give you a little lesson on the basics. Once a Soul Reaper reaches the level of captain, he then has the ability to control the size of his Zanpakuto. They have to, because if they didn't, they'd all be swinging around swords the size of skyscrapers.
Which is a clue I need you to keep in mind going forward. Let's go over the next point, control. During the Waco Mundo arc, the crew have to pass by a Garganta to enter into the world of the Hollows, but the matter connecting the realms is in constant flux, so to traverse it, you need to create a footpath using spiritual pressure, or spiritual matter. Here we get the next case of lack of control. When Ichigo makes a path, it looks like this. It's crumbling apart and barely stable enough for a single person. But when anyone competent makes one, not that I'm calling Ichigo incompetent, like Captain Unohana, it looks like this. Spacious, stable, and pristine. Ichigo cannot do this. His level of control is sorely lacking. This doesn't seem to improve over the series.
He talked about making a path with Reishi as if it were so easy. But I'm really terrible when it comes to doing little things like this.
Your sloppy spirit energy is not suited to this sort of task.
Let's do a quick recap. So far we have established that Ichigo isn't really great at controlling his spiritual pressure or spiritual matter. That will be crucial to linking the point I am trying to make, so let's move on to the next points. Let's focus on Ichigo's Zanpakuto from here. Zangetsu is the name of Ichigo's Zanpakuto spirit. It takes the form of an old man and a black and white version of Ichigo himself. These two do not get along, with one trying to suppress the other, and the other trying to gain control, making his inner struggle very unstable. Anyway, we are made aware that a Zanpakuto is essentially a mirror of the wielder. They know their user and have skills that complement them or push them to further their abilities to the max. This is no different for Ichigo. I will continue this point further, keep note. Next, let's talk about Ichigo's attacks. Ichigo's main attack is the Getsuga Tenshou. He has the white one in his Shikai and the black Getsuga in Bankai. The color doesn't really matter for this point. Ichigo later turns into a hollow or Vasto Lorde, and this allows him to use a Zero, which is a standard attack for any Menos Grande or any higher ranked hollows. Then he gained the final Getsuga Tenshou after his Dangai training. Finally, Ichigo has the Getsuga Jujisho. which is literally just two Getsuga Tenshou fired together in an X pattern. That's it. But here's why that's all he can do and the link between them. To the keen-eyed in the audience, you already know the answer by now, but for the rest I will connect the dots. Starting with the connection between the attacks, you will notice that these attacks are extremely simple. Draw in spiritual pressure, condense it into a single point or a single area, and then fire it. That's it. It only varies in what kind of spiritual pressure is used and in what volume, and the shape. One is a crescent slash, the other is two crescent slashes. Another is a laser that goes forward, and one is a big scarier slash. That's it. Simple spiritual control. Pull in, hold, fire. That's literally it. But here's what makes it all interesting. I have been hinting at the answer throughout the video.
But I'm really terrible when it comes to doing little things like this.
Ichigo sucks at controlling his spiritual pressure, absolutely terrible at it. He grew up with zero training in that regard, and the events of Bleach all happened far too quickly for Ichigo to find time to fine-tune his control and mastery. He is hopping from one danger to another, and so the best he could do was what he had at hand. And since Zanpakuto are essentially your own soul, I have a feeling Zangetsu evolved in the same way. Realizing the position its master was in, the abilities it developed for him were powerful and easier to understand. For him to take all that rampant spiritual pressure he has and weaponize it by firing it at his opponent in a lethal condensed state. This literally applies to all his attacks too. The Getsuga Tenshou is Ichigo condensing his spiritual pressure into his sword and slashing forward, giving it a crescent moon shape. Getsuga Jujisho is that but double, creating a crescent slash in the shape of an X. The final Getsuga Tenshou is Ichigo taking every drop of spiritual pressure he can spare, using himself as the conduit and the weapon, and firing that in a forward slash, cutting anything in front of him in half. And the Zero is Ichigo condensing spiritual pressure into a ball in front of his horns and firing it forward as a laser. Similar method, different outputs. That should have given you the answer as to why Ichigo only has one-ish attack. His personality, his journey, and the lack of time shaped his attacks, giving him something simple but effective. Which is kind of interesting, since Ichigo can be described with the exact same words. He is simple and effective at accomplishing his tasks. His fighting style falls under the same criteria, as Ichigo is most similar to Squad 11, who each do not have a single complex technique. It is all simple and effective, except for Yumichika, but he actually lied and hid his true powers to stay in the squad. So there's that connection for you. If Ichigo joined the squad, he would get along most to Squad 11. Renji too, by the way. He is very simple and used to be in Squad 11 before. Ironically, Renji can use Kido and is no longer in Squad 11. That tells you all you need to know about how they operate. Anyway, that'll be it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. And also, be sure to switch on post notifications. That option will allow you to keep up with all upcoming new videos and shorts that come out every single day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which should be a Q&A. So be sure to check out my community tab. There you will see a post which will allow you to participate. See you in the next video. Peace, my friend.